Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Full Send Sims YouTube channel for the Full Send Sims Season 3 recap here and the award celebration for this amazing 10-round season. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Greg Creamer, as we embark on a journey to award a handful of awards, both season trophies, hardware winners, and sponsorship award winners, their trophies for the season. Greg, welcome back. We're not racing this week, just celebrating a season of fantastic racing in the Full Send Sim Spec Miata iRacing series. Every single season, the action and the competition ramps up, and this season perhaps more than any other.
Well, the intensity, certainly. It has been an absolutely remarkable season. And, going with that 10 round with the 2 drops, obviously, it just created more impetus for people to stay in it and fight. And as we got through the season, we saw the action literally getting more and more intense. And that made it huge fun for us, obviously, Kyle, to be calling some absolutely incredible racing. I'm sure for the competitors, they were loving every minute of being in it. And to my delight, I do have to say that last race at the Sebring Short Course was absolutely furious, and people were obviously taking that round hugely serious because of all the implications. That's a sign that you have had an incredibly competitive season, and that last race means everything. And Kyle, I think we saw that play out completely.
We did, and I think the competition keeps ramping up. The car counts ramped up. I think we had almost 30 cars every single event, which was really, really exciting. And it couldn't happen without, obviously, the support of the sponsors, which we'll talk about. They're scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Of course, Final Turn Motorsports, 3P Logistics, Wine Country Motorsports, and of course, Full Send Sims. And from Full Send Sims, the guy that organizes it all, Court Schmidt. Court, thanks for joining us here tonight, and thank you so much for organizing this great series and all of the competition. I know there's so much that goes into it, but just talk a little bit about this most recent season. It has been, I think, from a variety of perspectives, the most successful yet, and I'm sure there's more to come.
2024 is done, baby. 3 great seasons. Absolutely amazing. Kyle, thank you. Greg, thank you. Kyle, it's great to finally see you on camera. I can't tell you how many people have asked and begged and pleaded to see what you look like, and it's so great to finally see you. Greg, we always love seeing you as well. The season's been great. You guys still have me?
I don't, so something's up on my end, but I will. Oh, everyone's back. Okay.
There we go.
It might have been me. Sorry about that. Carry on.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, obviously huge thanks to the sponsors. This season 3 has just been amazingly successful. The competition has grown to a level that is just unbelievable. And it's just been growing each and every season. We've been making changes. We've been trying to listen, to the drivers and the viewers and taking feedback and really contributing, big changes to everything. I think it's worked really well. We finally got the time slot locked down, and I think everyone's enjoying it. The excitement around the league is just contagious. We're hearing about it so much throughout the paddock at real world races now. Everybody's approaching us and our sponsors about how happy and excited they are about, everything going on. I've got to give a special thanks to a bunch of people right now, because this team has grown into something that I could have never imagined. Beans Forrester, Morgan Burkhardt, Conrad Chachik for our, being our instructors, and Beans helping out Greg, I know he's sent a lot of data to you, and he's really been kind of a secondhand man here that I really appreciate. Jim Friedhofer, he is the league admin. Everything that you guys, see in terms of car numbering and just how the sessions are set up, and he's just killing it. Andrew Benah, our chief steward, he has, there's ups and downs always with flagging and everything, and he's just been absolutely amazing with protests and, being fair and just really taking it to heart. Josh Bakari, who's just come on board, he's now building rigs for us, and he's helped alleviate a lot of the time, so we can really put our focus where it needs to be. My dad, Pops, Keith Schmidt, I know a lot of you meet him, when we do rig deliveries and we're out at events, he's there helping out all the time. Thanks to his wife, my mom, for letting him do it all the time. And most importantly, my wife, Sabrina. She deals with a man who tries to cram 48 hours into a 24-hour day every single day, and, the drivers and viewers. So we're just ecstatic. Everything is amazing. The guys driving and girls, that the competition is just second to none. It really is. And to you, Kyle and Greg, for all the broadcasting. It's just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be a part of it. And Greg, as we transition into talking a bit more about the highlights from the season, and we'll go into some highlights videos here in just a moment. Take me back through the season. Obviously, we had a great schedule of some really awesome racetracks this season. A bit of a different format with that drop round in play, but take me back through some of the highlights from your perspective as calling these races. What were some of the big ones for you?
Well, I think part of it, what was really special was the brilliant concept of trying to mirror the upcoming race schedule so that people that were doing real world racing were also able to get out and drive that track before that weekend happened to really get that little bit of extra experience. And I think that lent itself, was maybe part of the reason why everybody seemed to be upping their game, because, when, somebody ups their game and you want to stay with them, you've got to go there too. And I think that's been absolutely fabulous. Looking at the venues that we had, just some absolutely spectacular ones. The Sebring Long Course, to me, that's a track that you would think sometimes, maybe it's not going to be the best because of the bumps, but the straights are so long, and these cars in the drafting, that one's always fun. The high-speed flowing tracks, where drivers can just stick together the whole time and bring such strategy into play, was just mega impressive to me. And as I said, the very last race on the Sebring Short Course, everybody had to dial it up even more. And so from start to finish in this one, Kyle, I think it was just a huge highlight reel, and how you were able to pull out some highlights from the entire season is pretty amazing, because it was just stellar.
It was awesome, and going back through, of course, these videos, I could make a highlights reel that is as long as the rounds were. I mean, there truly was some amazing racing. I mean, basically, what I do to create those, if anyone's curious, I just jump on board with a car in the middle of the pack and just skip through laps, and there's always 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, grabbing great angles of it. It's a lot of fun. They kind of manifest themselves more as cinematic highlights with some commentary thrown in, but based off of the feedback from the first one, the second one is of a similar fashion. So let's do that now. Let's go through the last seasons of highlights. Let's go through the first half of the season, which we're going to watch that one again, and then we'll watch the second 5 rounds, which was the second highlights reel. So here is the 2023 Full Send Sims Spec Miata Series highlights, round 1 through round 10. Everybody will be chasing this driver. Morgan Burkhardt rocking a new livery this week.
You still can't count out Nicholas Rice-Puto, obviously, there in that red number 15. We've got some other names that are showing some speed as well. As always, the top 3 at the end of the season will all receive trophies. Kickoff round 1 of season 3 of the Full Send Sims Esports iRacing Spec Miata Championship. Hi all, I'm Greg Kramer, and welcome to a true Roval. And joining me once again for season 3 is Kyle. It's an absolute drag race. We're ready for season 3. Spec Miata Esports iRacing for Full Send Sims. We're green. And a really even start here as they head to the line. Beans on the inside, Morgan on the outside here. Down into turn 1 we go. Oh, look at this. So close. What's going to happen here? Look at this scrap. Wow, what a battle here. Puto floats high. Morgan gets the nose down underneath here. Here we go. And it's Burkhardt going to do it from the outside. Josh Shoto in that red and black car sweeps the outside. But look at that. Burkhardt went in incredibly deep. Big lunge by Rice Puto down into 1. As we head down into turn 1, that is difficult math. And look at that move by Rice Puto trying to get underneath Burkhardt and get him offline. Could not get it done Everybody running a little bit wide in the back. The pressure, Rice-Puto continues to heap on Morgan Burkhardt here. Mark on his right side, and I don't know if there was contact.
Oh, there's a push.
Forrester, he gets a run here, comes up to the inside, but as Morgan dives down to the inside. Ooh, look at this, side by side, almost 3 wide, up into turn 6. That's tough to do, and our friend Noah Jackson right in the middle of that again here. Breaking duel. See Soto trying to fade over a little bit.
Boy,
Wait, how did they not touch? And all 3 of them. How did they not touch?
The wild card here because he's not. Oh, look at this. One to the left.
It's clouded and clouded again. Rice-Puto runs just a little bit wide. Hibbett side by side down the hill. If Hibbett can stay put. Pace car moves in. We're green. Here we go at Daytona. The second half of the Full Send Sims Spec Miata Season 3 is underway. It's Rick Segrini out front. Rice-Puto, Burkhardt.
Side by side were Beans Forrester and Jordan Rick Segrini. Oh, Miata here at the back end. Oh, that's not going to work.
But here comes Rick Segrini. Rock diving way down to the inside. Contact roll on. Gets it all crossed up. Rick Segrini comes through.
So Joshua Soto leading the way 3 minutes in.
And he needs a big mistake from Soto. And Soto may have just, oh man, he got that curve and it skated him wide. But he stays on track. Joshua Soto.
Here we go at one of the most classic circuits in North American road racing.
Little touch right there, sending a couple of cars wide down into one. Absolutely, and oh, Piatek got a great tow. Cars sideways, slipping and sliding.
Burkhardt 12 points ahead of Rice-Puto, then Forster 2 points behind that, and another 13 back, Jordan Rick Segrini. Green flag, and 3 wide at the start fitting as we rush towards turn 1, 4 wide.
Oh boy, this is going to end very poorly here for a lot of the championship runners up near the front. Burkhardt getting swarmed.
Whoa, big slide there for Rick Segrini off the front bumper of Morgan Burkhardt. Whoa, they're in the grass. Piatek's run out of road. Kind of a bull ring as far as Sebring is concerned, and I think it's going to be a great place to decide our finale.
They're going to have that inside line, but Burkhardt at this stage is going to be well placed for the turn in up at Collier through Gurney. He's nosing ahead. This is going to be an out-breaking duel down into the hairpin. Rice-Puto gets in, but he gets in hot. There's a little graze. Did, and that was just enough. And here comes Beans. Beans now making the move, taking advantage.
Down to the braking zone for turn 1, and Morgan Burkhardt back to the lead.
Burkhardt gets the win by just under a second, and that makes him, for the 3rd time in a row in 2023, the Full Send Sims Esports iRacing Spec Miata champion.
It's obviously not the greatest audio solution here on Zoom, so apologies for those that were struggling with that here, but it will be fine on the broadcast, so make sure you check that out later. That video will also be uploaded to the Full Send Sims YouTube later as well. Greg, some awesome moments in that as well. That big barrel roll at Daytona was one of them, and I wasn't there for that one, unfortunately. When I saw that in the replay, I went, what happened there? He flipped hundreds of feet down the straightaway, but just all part of a climactic and wild season with a great battle, fender to fender, and it came down to the last rounds of the season at Sebring between Morgan Burkhardt and Nicholas Rice-Puto, and that was just such a great battle, Greg. But we'll get into our championship trophies here in just a moment. But, Greg, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about just the tail end of the season and that epic fight between Morgan and Rice-Puto.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to address the fact that, one, how many finishes, as we had in our previous 2 seasons, how many finishes did we have that were down to the thousandths of a second, or hundreds? Incredible. We went from 4 miles at Road America down to 1.5 miles at Lime Rock, and everything conceivable in between, and everybody was absolutely on it for the entire season. And then, having a few drivers step it up this year. You think about Morgan's points margin in that first season, it was pretty massive. Second season, it got scrunched a bit. This third one, it was incredibly close. And as you said, Kyle, came down to those final rounds. And, really, obviously you had the drops, but if you had problems in 1 or 2 races at that point, that was your drop. And if you didn't perform, you didn't step it up. And those guys going for that championship battle did right to that very final checkered flag, Kyle. And man, it made our job not only easy, but hugely enjoyable.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. And, of course, that championship battle came down to 2 drivers, but there was a third driver that was in contention all the time, all season long, right down to the very end. And that was your third-place finisher on the season for Season 3, the Full Send Spec Miata Series, Beans Forster. Greg, I'll let you take it away with Beans. But, Beans, what a season you had, first of all. That was an incredible job. Congratulations on the third place.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was always fun. It's been getting more and more challenging, and it's part of what keeps me coming back.
Well, everybody seemed to up the ante just a little bit in this third season, and you're really involved behind the scenes as well. So you really sort of had your finger on the pulse of what was developing throughout the year. And we would talk occasionally, and you were just super impressed with what everybody was doing. And to then end up third in that championship, be in the hunt, have event wins, it had to be a pretty satisfying season for you as well from a behind-the-wheel standpoint.
Yeah, I definitely think that even being in third this season, the competition, I feel like, has been stepped up a few notches compared to the steps from Season 1 to Season 2. And it feels almost a little bit more rewarding with how much tougher it was this season. And I honestly, there were times where I was thinking that I wasn't going to be able to pull it off. Had some bad races here and there, but was able to stick it out to the end. So I'm really, really happy for that.
Well, so are we, because you made those races really, really exciting as well. And I love it when a mustache sees such great success.
Yeah, I got to, I should send in my application to the state trooper sheet. See if there's maybe another career in mind for me.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, it was an absolute delight to actually be able to spend some time with you at the racetrack in person this year at the runoffs. And just your passion for this, Beans, is extraordinary. Thank you so much for all of it.
Yeah, no problem. It was great seeing you too. Got to see Greg, got to see Andrew Wozencroft, Andrew Benna, Greg Ginsburg, and Morgan Burkhardt, Skip Rock Jr. So many people that I've been racing with virtually for years and years past now, and to finally be able to see each other in person, it's like we already knew each other. For a second, maybe mistaken the faces for a couple times, but it was awesome. It was almost like our own little family within a little family kind of thing.
Yeah, it was absolutely fabulous, Beans. Thank you so much for all of it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Kyle, for the amazing job you guys do. These broadcasts are they're so phenomenal. Even there's some people that I show at work who think I'm lying to them when I tell them it's virtual racing, and they sit down and they're actually able to watch it even without a strong interest in racing in itself. So congrats to you guys for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's
Beans.
truly been our pleasure. Yeah.
Greg, we're going to move on now to our second place finisher on the season, and this was a driver that over the course of the season just was always up on the wheel, battling, fighting, winning races, just in the mix, and it came down to the last round. Your thoughts on before we talk to him, our second place finisher on the season, Nick Rice-Sputo.
Well, you just look at what he's done from the first season and, the gains he's made. And to me, what he really seemed to figure out in this third season was tire management strategy, because he was always faster really than at the end than a lot of the other guys, and certainly was patient in the beginning, and it showed with his results. And even with that big flip at Daytona, he still ended up with a really strong season and a great run in the points.
And moving on now to that driver, runner-up in the championship, Nick Rice-Sputo. Nick, congratulations on winning this championship. This has to mean, or running in second place, I should say, has to mean a lot.
That's next season.
Yeah, next season. You were close this time. You were right up on there. Just came down to Sebring.
Yeah. Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was a hard fight till the end. Those last two races at Sebring really put an icing on the cake for sure. But it was a lot of fun.
Since we're trying to anoint you, clearly we'll call you what they do in Europe. You're the vice champion.
I'll take
so that gets champion in there for you. You just seem to find something, particularly in this third season. And I know you've worked at it all year, but what was it? Was there something, that one thing that just clicked for you, that just sort of lit the fuse this year in that next level?
Honestly, I just put in a lot more time. Before the last couple seasons, I would practice maybe 30 minutes before and then go ahead and do the race. But I'm practicing probably a couple nights a week, or at least for an hour at a time. But that's what I would say is the biggest difference. Right. And also with Jordan, we work together a lot, so he's a big help as well.
I can't remember who it was, and I'm going to beat myself out about that, but about midway through the season, maybe a third of the way through, at one of the tracks, we had a huge flip sequence, and he actually, whoever it was, said on Discord, I must have the record for the most flips. Daytona comes along, and you obliterated that record.
Yeah.
That seemed to me to be maybe when iRacing came up and changed the grip, the actual friction coefficient for the grass, that they went a little bit the other way, because we were seeing a lot of those. And man, for you, that was a fast part of the track.
Yeah, that was something. That was my worst crash in iRacing ever. And I've had some bad ones, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's ask you here, how satisfying is this season? I mean, obviously you've enjoyed yourself, but when you think about season 1, season 2, and now here, you've got to feel, I would think, pretty darn good about how the year ended up.
Yeah, I definitely do. I do think there's a little more on the table, but I definitely performed every week. I think with a couple of unlucky finishes or penalties, I think I could have been right there as well, too. So
well, I mean, the points margin was super close. So and you were trying to take a championship away from a 2-time champion, and you got extraordinarily close. So man, absolutely fabulous season, and it's just been a real pleasure for me, and I'm sure for Kyle, to see where you started and where you finished here in this third season, and see all of that come together for you.
Yeah, it was great. It was really fun racing Morgan. He really does push me to the limit, for sure. So.
All right, man. Well, congratulations, vice champion for season 3.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys. My brain is at a million miles an hour running these. Again, it's not. I'm used to calling shows and moving graphics around on screen, so my brain's
You
in a
just
different
got
spot.
a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I sure
that's all.
did. Well, I'm gonna get to that point right about now because it's now time to crown our season 3 champion, and he is 3 for 3. Greg, it came down to the last round, and he had to fight for it. It was pretty wild, that Sebring between him and Nick. That last round in particular, Morgan had to fight to win this championship.
Oh, he did, and I have a feeling, and we're going to talk to him, that this one's going to mean the most because everybody stepped up behind him, Kyle, and came after him. And he was able to still hang on to it. He missed a round completely and was still able to just eke it out. Obviously, the drops help, but, that says an awful lot about, a driver that, and I'm going to talk to him about this in a minute, but I asked him before about, do you feel like you have a target on your back? And I'm going to ask him that question again so all the viewers can hear it here. But he responded, and he's a 3-time champ, 3 in a row. And I have to say, it was an absolute pleasure when I was announcing the runoffs on their stream. When I was announcing him, I mentioned what he had done during the season in SCCA racing. And then I said, but he is a 2-time champion in the Full Send Sims Esports iRacing Spec Miata Championship. And Morgan Burkhardt is now a 3-time champ.
Morgan Burkhardt, you're a 3-time champion here in the Full Send Sim Spec Miata series. Morgan, it's got to feel good. I mean, 3 for 3, but as Greg said, you had to work hard for this one with that target clearly marked on your back, but you were able to fight it off.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everybody has really stepped up the game this season. There's in previous seasons, season 1, season 2, there were 3, 4, 5 people that could really duke it out for the win and stick there for the 25-minute races. But we shortened up the races for season 3, and everybody's become a lot faster. They get more comfortable with the car, and it's 7, 8, 9 people per race, and excluding Daytona when it's like 17 people. But pretty much every other race, there's 9 people that can easily go up in there and duke for the win. So it's a lot more difficult now.
When you won that first season, you just came out of the gate and you just seemed to be right away at a slightly different level. And it's not like you didn't improve yourself, but as you said, everybody started, coming in. You've also been doing some actual real world racing, pole and Spec Racer Ford 3 at the runoffs. How much do you think this helped you there? And did that real world racing help you here fight for this championship in season 3?
I think it definitely did. I know racing with Nick and Jordan and Caleb and Beans all year long. I've learned some tricks about to racecraft when you're leading, when you're following, when to make moves, when to not make moves, and I've been able to use a lot of those skills in the real world. And I think that's what's really special about this league is that the racing is so tight, the cars are so close that you really have to plan it well. You really have to stick it in deep and pray for a move to work. So it's you learn a lot about the racecraft, and I think it's definitely benefited me in the real world this year with how successful we were. But other than that, just being comfortable driving the car to its absolute limits, both in the sim and the real world, I get a lot better feel for that.
Yeah. And, to me, as everybody stepped up, you were talking about it, that racecraft, there are certain times when you have to actually use, some little tricks and some strategy plays. And I'm not just talking about drafting for a while and then coming through, but overslowing in a corner or whatever, because it is so intense. You've got to pull every arrow out of your quiver to get these wins.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to be really playing 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of where I am on the track, making like predictions of what's going to happen 2 or 3 laps in the future when I'm, still trying to defend in the present. So really, it's really difficult. It's hard to see sometimes when we're watching the broadcast, but you really have to plan ahead and be able to see the future and predict what's going to happen, because a lot of these races, especially like at Daytona or Road America, when there's a long straight up to the finish line and you got to pick where you want to be, when you want to be there, how far away you want to be from people, and really just like kind of guessing and judging how big is the draft going to be, how good of a run is he going to get. I have to judge how good my tires are, how good his tires are. There's so many different variables that go into planning where a move is going to be done.
Well, and once again, you played that absolutely out beautifully. 4 wins in terms of events, a combined event doubleheader program. And again, just a remarkable season. It was a lot tougher this year, but you got it done again. we're mighty proud to be able to, say you are a 3-time champ, man.
I very much appreciate it, but yeah, I guess this means I got to step it up again for next season.
Let's hope.
I think it will. Hey, you got that trophy you can bring up close here to show everybody?
I do. Here's
There it
the
is.
Sun Sims trophies.
Look at that.
Nice.
Super cool. Belongs on the shelf next to the other one in the background.
Does.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Morgan. And Greg, we're now going to move on to the hardware winners for this season. Now, this is kind of a unique award because this can't be won more than once. So this kind of steps down the order each season. And this season, we paid out down to 6th in the overall season with these 3 different hardware awards that feature a variety of Fanatec equipment. So this is just one of those reasons that you got to participate in this series because, you don't have to be the top of the pylon every time. It's going to keep shifting down the order every season.
Well, that's it. And, that's the nice part about, if you're actually part of the Full Send Sim series management or a coach or whatever, your eligibility changes. If you've won it, it shifts down. You can't win it more than once in a full calendar year. So, that is a great motivation for the guys that are outside of that top 3, right? To stay with it, do everything you can to get there. And we had, 3 guys that responded beautifully and ended up walking away with some mighty nice hardware.
Well, one of these drivers, the first of the award winner that we're going to go through, has gotten a little bit of hardware in a couple different places this season. So 4th on the season was Jordan Rixagrini. Now, I talked about that hardware, ran GR Cup this season, has run a couple other racing series as well, but ran with us and has won the Fanatec Podium DD2 wheelbase. So if I can find him, there he is. He's got some of that evidence of hardware in the background as well with some of those Toyota GR Cup North America checks. But Jordan, you've won the Fanatec Podium DD2 wheelbase, which looks like this. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And gotta say, this is probably the best 4th place trophy I've ever gotten.
Well, and you never gave up on it. You kept fighting for it. And obviously you're outside of that top 3. You knew going into Sebring that, all right, the championships maybe not quite there. But one, you're a racer. You want to get to the front, whether, it's an individual race or a championship. You want to go there. That's why you're part of a series that's this fierce. But there's always that little bit of a dangle out there when there's a nice piece of hardware that I could be bringing home.
Oh, absolutely. I think Core and them do an excellent job. You really don't see trophies or prizes like this given out at an amateur level. And the fact that it's sim gear is so beneficial to so many kids that are coming up that maybe don't have the funding to get the top level sim gear or are looking to get into racing, don't have the funding to go real life racing. And this is just a really awesome thing that anybody can come. Court doesn't charge you to drive in the series, and you can win just one of the top level pieces of sim racing gear and add it to your sim at home, and it'll sure help you a whole lot with your sim racing, win some more prizes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How would you, now looking back on this 3rd season, how do you rate your performance? How do you rate your season?
It started off kind of slow. Both the seasons I've gone off to a slow start and then kind of was able to finish some races and start getting the points rolling, and then just carried that momentum. Like everybody's been saying, the level of competition and the fierceness of driving now there's so many more guys that joined this year that are fast karting kids or other pro drivers and stuff or just everybody's starting to push the envelope a little bit more that are normally in the top 5. And it's the top 9. I feel like anybody had a chance of winning every single weekend. And it takes a lot to win one of these now. It's definitely, you're no slouch. You definitely got to put in the time to be able to get a podium. And I think that showed this year with how many different people podium.
And you've been hearing an awful lot of Kyle this year because he's also calling the GR Cup, and you've had a lot of success there. Kyle, I want to turn it back over to you because I'd like you to talk to him quickly about how his real world racing went.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jordan, I'm a big proponent of sim racing and using that application to improve your driving at the real racetrack. I think you're in a unique scenario where the car that you drive in the real world is also in the simulator. So take me through, using iRacing as a tool and maybe using the Full Send Sim series, even though we're not driving that car, but the racecraft that you learn. What's that experience been like translating that to the series in GR Cup North America?
I mean, the braking zones, the shift points, obviously car handling's down to setup at the track, and same with iRacing. You can get really close. The official races with iRacing are fixed, so you don't get to change the setup. But there was countless times where me and my teammate from real life at BSI Racing, shout out Stephen Clemens Jr., we'd spend nights together driving on the sim, trying to learn the track before going there. And I think that's kind of credited towards my early success, where nobody really expected much, and then was able to get a couple podiums right out of the gates. And I race Spec Miata in real life too, and that's where this comes into play. And I think that's been an absolutely great addition, is following tracks where we're going to in real life. I think it brought out more people to the grid count didn't trail off towards the end of the year. This year, it was each and every race was a big grid, a big field, and we were able to go there, and we'd show up to the track and kind of like give each other a little hard time about who did better on the sim, and then decide it out on the track in real life and Spec Miata. So I think that sim racing, for me, I didn't come from a karting background. I have no racing background. This is only my second year of racing, and I think the sim has really been able, I could put in a lot of time where you can't go to the track every day. You can put in hours every single night on the sim. It's just in a living room or in your back bedroom or wherever you may have it. You can really grind away at the time, and it definitely does translate over to real life.
Well, Jordan, thanks so much, and say hi to your mom for me as well. She sent me an awesome text earlier with all the photos from the season. It was awesome and very, very sweet. So thanks so much to you and your family this season for the friendship at the racetrack, and congratulations on your successes, not only here but in GR Cup North America. And I'll hopefully be seeing you a lot more next year as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd actually like to give a shout out to Court and his dad. We got to have the honor of meeting them this year at Sebring. Obviously, I got to meet you a couple of times with Toyota, which was awesome. Greg, I'm sorry I didn't get around to you at the runoffs, but I'll be sure to be there the next time you're announcing one of the real life races. And then I'd like to make one more shout out to my friend Trevor. He watches each and every weekend. He was in a bad automotive accident on the street, and he's in the hospital recovering right now. So big shout out to him, and thank you for watching every week.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate your time, and appreciate your participation.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Thank you.
Greg, now we're going to shift focus to the next hardware award, which, of course, the wheelbase, that's a great piece of hardware that can make the steering column produce forces that are equivalent to a real-world race car. But the next thing I think is probably the most important part of the driving, and that's the pedals, these Fanatec Club Sport V3 inverted pedals, Greg. Simulating pedals at a very high level is very important because, as you know, a lot of times you're steering with your feet.
That's an absolute fact. And if you don't have something that gives you that real feel, the real sensitivity you need, it's a big difference. And the guy who gets that this year ended up 5th in the points. And, somebody who really made a big leap from season 1 up into season 3, Kyle.
Absolutely, and that driver that will win these Fanatec Club Sport V3 inverted pedals, so they're hanging down instead of coming up from the floor, a lot like normal cars that you typically drive in. That driver is Olivier Piatek. 5th on the season, wins those pedals. This is a fun one for me. I've got a set of these myself, Olivier. Congratulations on picking this setup, and it's got to be a lot of fun to add a new piece to your rig. Oh, I don't have your mic anymore.
Can you hear me now?
I got you loud and clear.
Perfect. Okay, sorry for that. No, they're definitely nice pedals. Really happy to use them. My old $50 Fanatec pedals were starting to give out anyway, so happy to have some new hardware.
Yeah, perfect timing for you then. That's absolutely great. You ran the first season, then we didn't see you in the second season. You came back in the third season with a vengeance. What changed for you?
Nothing really. I just took a few months off iRacing, just didn't play for a while, and then came back season 3, wanted to go fight for the championship. Had some bad first rounds. Was like 20th in the points, but just put the time in, figured out my settings, got all my stuff back to how it should be, and just from there on, I was just doing all I could.
Well, sometimes you need that little reset, obviously, and it paid off for you with a great run, top 5 in the points this year, and an absolutely fabulous set of sim gear. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Olivia Piatek wins those pedals. Moving on now to the next piece of hardware, and this is also a fun one for me, Greg, because you and I both love talking about heel-toe downshifting, and you can't do that without an H-pattern shifter. But a lot of options on the market are just an H-pattern shifter, or they're just a sequential shifter. A lot of drivers don't even bother with that. But this Fanatec Club Sport H-pattern and sequential shifter is both in one package, Greg, and shifting and getting through the gears cleanly is a huge part of going fast.
Well, it is. And for those that really make the effort in a car that was originally in real world, had an H pattern shifter, that decide that's how we're going to drive it. I admire that so much. I'm old enough that I have those nostalgic moments, right? And, to me, one of the things I miss with paddle shifting is what I call the high-speed ballet. And the footwork, making the shifts clean, the blips, the trail braking, all of that happening. That's an art that is all too much lost. And I love that we sort of keep that revived here in this championship, Kyle.
And that winner for the Club Sport H-pattern and sequential shifter is Caleb Patry. Caleb, welcome. I want one of these real bad, so I'm pretty jealous of you. I've got a Thrustmaster equivalent, but it's not as good. There's a good look at it, Caleb. Congratulations. How's it been so far?
Actually, I haven't really used it yet. I've actually been mounting it as this whole presentation has been going on. So I just finished it up, and hopefully I'll be able to run it in a league race I have going on tonight. But it looks really nice. I'm really happy that I won it.
Well, we're happy you won it too, and you did it 6th place in the points, and obviously you've been a little bit more up in the points in some of the other series. But as we've been talking about, everybody has just upped their game so much. Did you sense that this year as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, when the first round of the series, I think we had like 30 or 40 cars, which was awesome to see. But at the front, as others have been saying, you went from 5 people who had a chance at the win each week to 10 people each week, and that made it a whole lot harder. You make one little mistake in qualifying, and instead of finishing like 4th or 5th, you're now back outside the top 10. So it really, really, really did make things challenging to kind of stay up front there.
Out of the 10 races, you were able to get 2 event wins when you combined the 2 finishes. So you were still able to get there, but it sounds like that achievement might even be more remarkable because it was a lot more difficult to do.
Yeah, definitely, and even more so just kind of run consistent. I mean, at the start of the season, I had some pretty good runs. I was up front quite a bit, pulled a few wins, and then middle of the season, some self-inflicted, some kind of out of my control, just bad luck happening, and that kind of put me down the order. But like with any incident like that, it's all kind of a learning experience. What can I do to better myself in case this happens to me again, or what can I do to prevent it from happening? But overall, it wasn't a bad season. Walked away with some hardware, and a lot of good more memories.
Well, and I think you bring up a really good point. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Every time you race, you learn. And if you don't, you're just going to keep going slower. And I think that's something to really, when you have a season where maybe, okay, I thought I could have been a little bit higher in the points, that doesn't mean you didn't get something out of it other than a nice piece of hardware, because there's lots of stuff that you could put in the back of the mind now and that you could take forward with you. You are a tremendous addition to this series, and we're really happy that you're a part of it, and we can't wait to see what you do in 2024.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
So, Greg, we're going to move on now to the sponsorship awards. And, of course, we talk about this every broadcast, Greg, that we can't do this without the assistance of all the sponsors and people that make it happen. And, of course, 3P Logistics, Final Turn Motorsports, Wine Country Motorsports, and, of course, Full Send Sims. We've also got the Greg Kramer Perpetual Trophy coming up at the end. But let's move on now to the Full Send Sims Sportsmanship Award. This one's important, Greg, for a lot of reasons. This honor pays tribute to individuals who exemplify the highest standards of fair play, respect, and camaraderie in virtual competition. Greg, this one's an important one for all of us.
Oh, there is no question about it. And what it really comes down to, as you pointed out, is how do you race? Not just necessarily where do you finish, but how do you race? And the guy who is going to win this award this year, I watched him so many times during the season, Kyle, where he would give somebody room when maybe somebody else wouldn't. He would give somebody room. He raced with respect. I saw him a few times back out of a move and say, look, I don't want to take anybody out. And, he spent a bit more time than I'm sure he would have wanted, back in the pack just a little bit. And yet he came through that pack with absolutely a reputation for being a top-notch, clean, respectful driver and an incredibly worthy winner of the Full Send Sim Sportsmanship Award.
And that driver is Jordan Butler. Jordan stands by with us now. Greg, take it away.
Yeah, Jordan, it's just been such a joy to watch you drive this year. And I know there were times you were up a little bit and, you had, somebody got into you or whatever. But in watching how you raced when you were, looking at passes, when you were looking at moves, you could always tell that there was that little bit of this is a little bit too much risk. I don't want to take somebody out of this. And just the way that you conduct yourself on the racetrack, it really sets an example. And I just wanted to say thank you because I watched that. And to me, that really stands out. And you have so earned this award, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Really appreciate the recognition. I think some of that goes down to I don't race in real life like most of these guys out here. And so I do want to try to show that respect and like not just be crashing into people and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm driving it like I own it. And, I wish I could be closer up to the front. I'm just missing a couple tenths everywhere. I think if I won one of those shifters, I'd probably be up there with those guys too. So I'm still in paddle shifters. But yeah, I want to make clean moves and make good, clean passes. And if I show respect to these guys, then they'll show it back to me. And, we're racing the same guys every week. So
yes,
if I door somebody, then, they're going to put my name on a list and, I might not get the respect back when I'm racing them next week. So, fighting in the mid pack is tough. Fighting for, 8th, 9th, 10th place is pretty hairy sometimes. So just got to keep it clean, stay on track and get the results.
Well, absolutely. And, one of those aspects is if you race somebody clean, they know then when you guys get into a battle down the road, they go, I can trust this guy and I can get my nose in here and he's not going to chop it. Conversely, if I make, something happen, he's not going to, chop it. You guys, that just creates some absolutely great racing. And another thing is that you've really done a great job of creating a really inclusive and respectful atmosphere within the community, and that stands out as well. So absolutely congratulations, Jordan Butler, on the Full Send Sim Sportsmanship Award. Well earned.
Yep. Thank you, Greg and Kyle, and especially Court for hosting this league. And I look forward to coming back next season.
We look forward to it too.
Thanks, Jordan. Congratulations. Greg, moving on now to our next sponsorship award winner. This is the 3P Logistics Hard Charger Award, which celebrates the fearless pursuit of victory, relentless determination, and unmatched tenacity in racing. This one, of course, belongs to a driver that has shown all of those traits this season. Yeah, and we brought up his name a whole lot, whether or not he was leading the race, usually in the middle of an intense battle all night long, Greg.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I love about this award, and obviously I've been announcing a while, and you get these Hard Charger Awards, and usually it's all about how many cars did you pass in a race, and then they total it up. How many cars did you pass throughout a season? This version of the award is not about that at all. What it's about is how you go about those passes. And as the award states, the guy that won it here has been absolutely relentless and, to me, decisive. Kyle, and when he's had moments when he's, just had to come up through the pack, or whether he's been up near the front and been tipped and lost positions, the way that he just sort of sized his way back through the pack, when he gets there, it's a decisive pass. He doesn't waver so somebody can go, is he or isn't he? And then you have contact. He just finds creative ways to pass. He executes it absolutely decisively, and ultimately, for the most part, always makes them stick. And that, to me, regardless of how many positions you gain during a race or a season, that's a true hard charger. And to me, this guy absolutely defines it. Our 3P Logistics Hard Charger Award winner is Camden Hibbett.
Camden, congratulations. Do you have that trophy near you? Can you show us? You have it near? On the shelf? I want to make sure that we get to see these as well. I forgot to mention that with Jordan, but hard fought and well earned, and there is a look at it. If we could show that to the camera. Look at how nice these look. The 3P Logistics Hard Charger Award. Camden, congratulations.
Thank you. It is a beautiful trophy as well. It was a pleasant surprise when I received it in the mail a few days ago. I was not expecting. I didn't know this award existed. Honestly, I can't thank 3P Logistics, Full Send Sims, you guys, Court Schmidt, Beans Forrester enough for this incredible honor. And as you said, this is kind of like I'm not gonna say a warm up season. This was kind of a season for me to learn and get. For me, this is my first season in Spec Miata in real life as well. This was kind of a learning season, trying to learn from the best in the business. Morgan Burkhardt, Nick Rice-Saputo, Jordan Rixigrini, Beans Forrester. These guys are so good at what they do. And for me, it was kind of learning how to improve myself. That's why a lot of times I didn't really want to push too much because I didn't want to get in their way because I knew I probably wasn't going to be a threat for the championship this season. But it was awesome, and it's a humbling experience going up there and being able to get a chance to race with them, because not only are you learning, but it's insane racing. It's the best racing you will see, arguably it's some of the best racing you will see.
Well, and you've been a big part of that, and that's been really enjoyable to watch. I had a chance to actually meet you, talk to you a little bit at the Petit Le Mans where you were there. I think you were there as a guest at Brian Till, and I'm so sorry about that. But he is one unique person. But obviously, you've got a deep passion for this, and just watching how you go about your racing. And like I said, I've been calling racing a long time, and a decisive pass when you come up there and you've made your decision up and you make the move, you don't waver on it. It's helpful for even the people that you're overtaking because they know he's coming, and when he does it, just let him through, get in behind, and a few times we even saw, I think, in the highlights where you were running well, got tipped back a little bit. You would just put your head down and just come flying back up through it, and it's just been fun to watch. There's no other way to put it other than it's just fun to watch you race.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's kind of something that my parents, my dad, and some other people that I grew up racing with instilled in me. And one thing I remember from like those early years of when I ran quarter midgets was learning to race cautiously aggressive. That was the term we used because you have to be able to know when to be aggressive, but you also, like I think it was Jordan said, you're going to race with these guys next week. And if you don't build that respect level, you're never going to be able to run up front because you're not going to have the respect of everybody to leave you room. And that's just how I kind of got brought up in racing. Yeah. And it's something I'm trying to continue to do as I hopefully progress up the ranks higher than Spec Miata, but also in the sim, because it's really just, it's real life racing with a reset button. If you make a mistake, you're lucky enough to be able to say apologize and reset, but at the same time, it's worth a lot to a lot of people. You can earn a lot of prizes, as we've seen tonight. So it's been really fun racing, learning a lot, and definitely you got to have that aggression, or you're not going to run up front. But you also have to know when to back out and when the right time to show that aggression is.
You have to learn to temper it, when the time's right. Kyle, the other, aspect of it is when you put your head down and you go for it, one of the great compliments that is when one of the drivers that you're racing against looks at you afterwards and goes, dude, you just schooled me with that pass, and says it with a lot of respect. And that is a real testament, to a guy's skill, ability, and racecraft. And Kyle, no question, Camden deserved this one.
Yeah, Camden, congratulations once again, and all season long displayed all of the traits that Greg talked about there for the 3P Logistics Hard Charge Award. So Camden, congratulations, and enjoy that. That's a nice one to have on the shelf. So thanks a lot. Moving on now, we got 3 more to go. The Final Turn Motorsports Most Improved. This is a driver that took a triumphant journey of growth and dedication in racing's pursuit of excellence. So I think over the course of the season, the driver that won this award, Greg, is easy to spot in later rounds because of the bright color of his car, but was always just up through the field and consistently getting into that top 10, getting into that top 5, and it was just one of those drivers that we had to take note of as we went through the season.
No question about it. And we saw little moments of that certainly in that first season that he ran. You think about where he ended up in the points, 14th in the points in that first season. In season 3, he ends up 5th in the points with an average start of 4th. I mean, that is a massive improvement, a fabulous improvement. And I've kind of given it away already, but you look at that level of improvement, there's no doubt that an incredibly deserving recipient of the Final Turn Motorsports Most Improved Award is Olivier Piatek.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Started the season off just on the back foot, really.
Yeah.
From being off iRacing so long, so just kind of slowly relearned how to drive and got back up there.
You had talked earlier, when we talked about you winning the hardware award, about when you came back to the second season, it took you a little bit to kind of not just yourself, but to get the car right, where you need to have it. And people forget about that. Even though it's a spec car with essentially a spec setup on it, there's still things that you have to learn, that you have to work on to get it there. And you really seem to nail it, particularly in season 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's super important to have all your pedals and stuff set up the right way. And that was my problem. I had the game set up to auto clutch because my clutch wasn't working too good, and I was losing 0.2 a corner because the car, just the weight wasn't going where it should have been. So after I got that figured out, that was a massive jump in pace.
Right. Well, and you played it into it. Like I said, a top 5 in the points. You get that nice piece of hardware, and you also, just so deserve that Final Turn Motorsports Most Improved Award. I think you got it there in your hand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Show it there. Absolutely beautiful trophy, and one well earned, Kyle.
Absolutely. Congratulations again. Those are great looking awards as well. So big thanks to the partners that make this all possible, including, of course, Final Turn Motorsports with that Most Improved Award, Greg. So we're going to move on now to one of our newer partners. This is Wine Country Motorsports and their Safe Driver Award. This is being presented to the outstanding safe driver who achieved the season's lowest incident points, exemplifying unparalleled dedication to safety on the racetrack. Greg, we talk about iRacing or sim racing as a whole as a transitional element. It is a tool, but practice is only useful if it's good practice. And keeping the car on the road and out of the fence and out of each other's cars is perhaps the most important lesson of all to learn in a simulator. And the driver that won this award did that the best.
Well, I think you bring up a really good point, is every time you hit that reset button, what are you doing? You're costing yourself time on the track. And, sometimes it happens to you and there's not a lot you could do it. But when you cause it yourself, that's doubly painful because, now, as we've talked about, you've raised the ire of a competitor and you've lost yourself that time on the track. And the guy who was the winner of the Wine Country Motorsports Safe Driver Award, what he did this year to me was really extraordinary. He's been a supporter of the series really since the very first one. And as we've seen the pace of that mid-pack group get more intense and more fierce, that means that the racing is a lot more competitive and a lot more on the edge. And to be able to compete in that group and come out at the end of the year with significantly less incident points than anybody else, to me, is simply remarkable. And it's a true example, I think, of how to go racing. Wherever you are, you race clean, you do the best thing you can to get as much time as you can on the track. And really, without question, nobody did that better this year. And that's why our Wine Country Motorsports Safe Driver Award winner is Wayne Buttermore.
Wayne, congratulations, and we'll let you get unmuted there. There you are. Congratulations on the Wine Country Motorsports Safe Driver Award.
Thank you. It's a great honor to get this award. I'll put it up front right here. Oops.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, oops, too close. There we go. That's better. Yeah, these are great awards. A little reflective in the bright light, but other than that, they're super. I come from a endurance racing background, Lemon Series, and that's been my real life experience. And 2 wheels off cost you a black flag in that race, and so there's motivation to keep the car on track and keep it clean. So that's kind of my philosophy of driving, actually. And I figure that I've improved my pace a little bit. I've got a long way to go to get up with Morgan and Beans, and a few other guys out there. And by the way, I want to thank Morgan and Beans and Conrad for the schools that they run, because I think teaching racecraft and teaching how to get a race start and be competitive in those environments is incredibly important to this series as well. So those guys do an outstanding job with that. And Court, in terms of having that kind of resource available, I think is also a wonderful strategy and plan for the league itself. So I want to thank Wine Country Motorsports for the award, and my wife for letting me get involved in these things and taking up the time away from her. I think we've all experienced those kinds of things as well. But Court and Full Send Sims, in terms of putting the whole league on, it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it significantly. I figured out, by the way, that I catch the draft at least once and sometimes twice as the leaders go by me on occasion. And sometimes I'm able to keep up. Sometimes I'm able to keep up with them for a lap or two afterwards. But I'll improve on pace as time goes on. I got into this sport in terms of virtual world as well as real world pretty late in life. I'm probably one of the senior guys that are in the league, and I've been retired now 7 years. And yeah, so anyway, but I enjoy it, and I find, like everybody else, that my sim time does help in terms of real life as well, significantly. So thank you.
Well, and you've also explained that your real world application in Lemons has worked to your favor in the sim racing as well, kept you on track more often, giving you more and more laps. And, I know, you were joking about the leaders going by and catching a toe and everything, but, that's that moment when you can learn a little bit, you can watch what they're doing, and that can help you just improve. But it seems to me, and I know every once in a while, I think I've referred to you as the unfortunate ping pong ball when others have gotten into you. But when you're racing in that, right in the middle of that in absolutely fierce pack, the focus and attention forward and backward has to be just amazing. And you just seem to relish it.
Well, I like to keep an eye in the mirrors because I know my pace isn't always there. So when the faster guys are coming up behind me, I don't want to interfere with their race either. I think it's important to let them do racing. I know I'm not going to keep pace with them, so I might as well. It's kind of getting out of the way. But I try and keep my line. I go by the philosophy. I've got the line. I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to be predictable, and so that people behind me know what I'm going to do and what to expect from me.
Well, predictability when racing in traffic is an absolute must. And I'll tell you what, you deserve this Wine Country Motorsports Safe Driver Award, Wayne. Congratulations to Kyle. I think that last comment he made about keeping my eye on the mirror and looking out for my competitors, that's why he won this award, and nobody deserves it more.
Yeah, head on a swivel, and there's the old racing adage, to finish first, you must first finish. And a big part of that is keeping the car on the track. So congratulations to Wayne, and thanks again to Wine Country Motorsports for presenting the Safe Driver Award. Our next trophy, Greg, this is for you. This is the Greg Creamer Perpetual Trophy. And I'm going to let you explain this one because this is your award, and it's a very specific one, and I think it's for a good reason. So, Greg, take it away with the Greg Creamer Perpetual Trophy.
Well, thank you. When Court asked me if I would do this award, I kind of cringed a little bit because I want any award we do to be about the drivers, and to have my name on it feels a little weird. But at the other point, I was honored simply because it allows me, with a lot of years of experience, to look at a driver and really see something special. And we saw it this year. Let me put it this way. In the first season, the gap from our champion Morgan Burkhardt to everybody was huge. But, over 150 points back was our winner of this year's Greg Creamer Perpetual Trophy Award. In the second season, he was less than 50 points back. In this third season, he upped his game significantly. And it didn't just come down to where he finished in the points. What was catching my eye, and I did a little research, and it was confirmed, Kyle, was he made a massive step in both understanding the dynamics of the car and how to race it to be fast late and not run it off too quick. And also the racecraft itself, how to play that game that Morgan talked about where to put the car, when to put it there. all of that got stirred into what ended up being an absolutely amazing season. It was just a superb run. We knew the speed was always there. Now he's fast start to finish, and oftentimes quicker at the end than those that are relative around him. And as it says on the trophy, it's such a chess game at these speeds, and you play this game perfectly. I said that to him after an interview this year, and I got to tell him, as the season is now over, he played that high-speed game of chess like an absolute master as this season continued. This season, season 3, Greg Creamer Perpetual Trophy Award winner is Nicholas Rice-Puto. Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you, guys. I don't know if you can see me.
I got you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I got my most prized trophy right here.
Look at that.
Look at that. Well done, Court. Well done. That's a beauty.
Yeah, no, it's an honor. So I really appreciate you considering me for this, Greg. And I don't know, Court. His trophy's a little bigger than yours. Like, what are we? But I really appreciate you considering me for this.
Well, you earned it. You earned it. And I was talking to, as I said, some of the other drivers, and they said that, in that first season, in particular, every once in a while when you'd out qualify them, they weren't too worried about it because, they were going to see you, maybe use up too much tire or whatever. And they said this year you qualified in front of them. It terrified them because now you'd figured it out. And they knew, oh God, am I in for a battle here? And, to hear those kind of comments from your competitors, that really speaks to the big step you made. And you've got to feel just immensely, satisfied with that progression.
Definitely. I think Court's quote works. Practice makes podiums, and it definitely, you still have to practice for the sim races as well. So I think that's a testament to how well I did this season. I've definitely put a lot more time into it.
Yeah, well, and that that's a big deal. Seat time, whether it's sim or real world, is everything. And before we came on the air, we were joking a little bit about you had watched me call the IMSA esports race, and at one point before we were in the actual broadcast of that, talking with Arjuna and the guys that call a lot of that stuff, those top level pro sim racers. They said they average, give or take, 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
Just sitting in the sims. It's insane. So I think you've just seen, as you've added in that step now of that more time behind the wheel, that practice has not only brought you up to, the podium in terms of finishes, but in the championship points. And, right now, I can't wait to see where you go in the future, because now that light bulb's clicked, I think we haven't seen anywhere near the best from Nick Rice-Puto.
Well, I think Kyle already predicted it for next season, so you're looking at the.
When I speak, I hope it's usually truth. Not always, but I hope most of the time, Greg.
Yeah.
Well, and and in just a little bit, we're going to have Court talk about the 2024 season and when it begins, so you'll know your window to get more seat time in and be able to come after these guys. But Nicholas, it's been such a joy to watch, not only watch you race, but to watch you progress, and just from what you're doing in the car on the track to see how your mind's working now. And it's just been magic, man. I've enjoyed it so much, and I couldn't be happier that I had a chance to give you this perpetual award.
Thank you guys so much. My whole family watches the broadcast now, so it's thanks to you guys. So.
Well, that's lovely to hear. We love that. Kyle?
All right, thanks, Nick, and thanks, Greg, for presenting that as well. As we wrap things up here tonight, I do want to bring Court in one more time to talk about next season, because we did a whole lot this season, or this year, I should say. We had 3 full seasons of racing, and each one progressively got more and more exciting, and I think there's a lot of sustainability here. I think it's really awesome that we've got all these partners involved, Greg, so I think let's bring Court back in. Let's talk about next season, Court. There's a lot of exciting things, including a calendar, and I think this is exciting also for me, because I get to plan plan the rest of the season and the broadcasts for next year as well. So I'm very, very excited. And I should also mention, Court, while you're here, that I am moving into a new place that has a room just dedicated to broadcasting in about a week. So by next season, we'll have a whole different broadcast center. It'll be like ESPN, but Kyle behind the scenes. So I'm very excited about that, Court. What you got?
So just to clarify, Nick, I think this is a little bit bigger, but this is everybody. So this is the actual Greg Kramer Perpetual Trophy. It has everyone's name on it, from Morgan to Jordan Rixagrini, now Nick Rice-Puto. That travels with us all over. So we present that just so people can see it. We share it with everyone. The ones that are sent to the recipients are actually, a smaller version of this, and we want them to have something to honor it as well. So for 2024, we got some big plans coming. Season 1 is going to kick off January 9th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's going to be another 10-week season with a 6-week break, and then another 10-week season and another 6-week break. And then it's going to be the same format as this year because it worked. So we've kind of nailed that down now. We are lightening the car up. So that's pretty exciting. We've done a lot of testing here in the off season. We took the full fuel load. I believe it's 12.7 gallons, and we've reduced it down to 5.3. So more than half reduced. So that should lighten the car up a little bit. Let you steer with your feet a little bit more and retain some tire life in there. We are modifying the prize structure for next year. We can't release that yet. We're still doing a lot of kind of investigation on. We've taken a lot of data from all the drivers on what kind of hardware they've got, but we will be upping it and kind of catering it to everyone that's really focused on racing and committing to the series. I do have one big announcement that I haven't shared with anyone yet. Something that I've acquired recently is pretty awesome, and that is this guy. So this is a Pro Sim Quaife shifter, complete with linkage and everything, and this will be given away next year to someone during the 2024 year. And what this is going to be, I mean, this thing is, it's so nice. It's an H-pattern shifter, full shifter linkage. So when you pull that lever back, you're actually shifting just like a transmission, race transmission that Quaife produces in real world race cars. So that is a prize in addition to the prize structure for next year. Participation will be a big factor. So, kind of that 70-80% participation outside of drop weeks. We're gonna monitor that. Basically run your best race, every race with sportsmanship and racecraft and car control and decision making, all the awards that we're giving out tonight. We want to honor those people that are really committing to the kind of real world replication of the virtual series, and you'll be a Pro Sim shifter winner. So I just wanted to touch on that, and I just want to say thank you again to everyone. It's really been a ton of fun. This isn't a job. It's just so much fun that, everything we're doing, I really enjoy it. So thank you, everyone. Thank you once again to 3P and Frankie and Rob at Final Turn and Grant at Wine Country. These guys are just absolutely, front runners in realizing where this industry's headed, and the support that they've given us, just out of the gate has just been outstanding. So thank you again, everyone. Congrats once again to all the winners, and I appreciate you coming by for the awards ceremony. And thank you to Kyle and Greg.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Greg.
Before you run, we heard a couple of the drivers talk about how valuable the schools were and the one-on-one instruction. I presume that's going to continue because it really helps flatten the learning curve, especially for newer racers.
Absolutely. Yes. So the schools are going to continue. It will be every other week with the track that we're going to run the following week. We're also currently working on a driver curriculum that we're going to offer to folks in the future. We don't have a set timeline on that. We're just trying to develop it as we're going to make it best out of the gate. Greg, we've talked a lot. We want to work and do some driver development in more ways than just driving. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that come down the pipe next year for 2024, and we're really excited about it. We absolutely will keep the driver schools. I would run them every week if we could, but it's tough. There's a lot that goes behind it, a lot of money and time invested into that. So just come out, drivers, enjoy the schools. These aren't punishments for acquired license points. It's a learning experience, and we just want to help promote, people just getting better on the racetrack. So if you can't make the driver schools, we still offer the one-on-one sessions, book online anytime. And if we can help you out, we're more than happy to.
All right, Court, thank you. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough to beat this season, but I know that this entire group, all of these competitors, everybody there with Full Send Sims, Kyle, they're up to it. I can't wait for 2024.
January 9th, Tuesday, January 9th is when we're coming back, and I cannot wait for the next season of racing. Again, I'm very excited on the production side because part of the new place for me with that extra room for broadcasting, going to a 2 PC setup, I'm going to split out the broadcasting onto a different computer, and that will allow a whole lot more as far as production is concerned. So I'm very, very excited for all of that. And Greg, thank you so much for being alongside me for this journey. It's been a pleasure to work alongside you. And we get a lot of reps doing this, which is good because when we go over to Grid Life and jump in the real booth, it's just real easy because we've worked together so much. So I appreciate you being alongside it.
Well, it's been an absolute delight for me, with the Grid Life stuff as well, and being able to do this, hopefully more, coming down the road. And folks, I would like to wrap up this season 3 award ceremony. This is a quote from one of our competitors. He's an absolute front runner, and he's actually, one of the coaches. He works on the instruction side as well. And this is to all of you, because this was all of you that did this. And I think you should be very proud of this season in particular. He said, that last race, I think we all pushed each other harder than anyone has in the front in any previous race this year. I personally was really feeling the pressure of how crucial a mistake was going to set me back. And the competition is not only elevating this season, but the bar is higher and tighter for even the midfield. And it makes for some incredibly exciting races, not just to be in, but to go back home later and watch. And if that's what we're putting out there because of what all of you are doing to the viewers on YouTube Live and elsewhere, it's a pretty extraordinary thing. So a huge thank you to all of you. You have done yourselves proud.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you to everybody for an incredible year, an incredible season 3. And we'll see you on Tuesday, January 9th for the continuation of the 2024 Full Send Sim Spec Miata series. Thanks to Court. Thanks to all the partners and people that make it happen. 3P Logistics, Final Turn Motorsports, and Wine Country Motorsports, as well as Full Send Sims and Court again. Greg, thanks again. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in January.